Hello, I'm Hugh,
I'm Paul.
and we're here today to give you a bit of a spoiler-free chat about Jodie Whittaker's first Doctor Who episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which we've both seen.
We've seen it.
It's pretty good.
It's good, right?
It is really good.
Yeah.
We're going to get into some specifics later on, but
That's the end now.
That's the end. Yeah, that's the end of the video. It's pretty good. Bye. But before we start, we should just say we're not going to be going into any sort of major episode plot lines, too much of what goes on. No. We don't want to spoil it for anybody. I think we'd probably get in trouble if we did anyway.
We just want to give you an impression of the quality that it's at, and kind of the flavour and the tone and everything. So yeah, no major spoilers here.
Yeah, but if you do want to go in completely fresh, you don't want to know anything, then, just watch it with the sound off so we still get the views.
Yeah.
That's it. So we're going to kick off with the big talking point of the episode, which is Jodie Whittaker's new Doctor. And I'd say she pretty much nails it.
She's brilliant. I think she's really good. She's engaging, she's charming, and she's down to earth. She's kind of like all the things that Jodie Whittaker is in real life, actually.
Yeah.
Her personality really comes through, and I love the fact that she's kept her accent. It works so well.
It really does.
And to me, I was just watching it and just thinking, that's the Doctor.
100%. It's kind of, she just sort of, when she turns up in the episode, it's just, there's not really that much of a kind of, she's sort of moving into it. I'd say even more than the last couple of Doctors. She's straight in, she's the Doctor, she knows what she's about. She's intensely moral, I thought. She has a really strong sense of right and wrong. She brings it up once or twice. She's really funny. She's really energetic, kind of Matt Smithy. So I think it's a really good introduction.
But in a not over the top way.
No. Not it's not
annoying.
Yeah, it's not quite as wacky as you might have thought.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was maybe what I was slightly worried about, was that could it go too far that way, but I think they've got it just right.
Yeah, and I think it's a good episode to introduce her. Without giving too much away, the stakes aren't the biggest Doctor Who stakes there have ever been. There are pretty big stakes, but it's more about meeting these characters.
Yeah.
And we should also say, obviously, Jodie Whittaker's the first female Doctor, but I didn't notice.
No, well, that's what I mean. I was just, when I say she's the Doctor, that's what I mean. It's just like there's the new person playing the Doctor, and I see that character in her. Yeah,
and it's like an irrelevant piece of trivia. This is the first Doctor, who's got a Yorkshire accent.
It is, and then because you don't think about it at all. But then when you take a step back and you remind yourself, then it's actually just really cool.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
It's about time, right, that we had a woman in that role.
Yeah.
If you'll pardon the pun. And I've said this a million times before, but I'm really looking forward to little boys and girls watching her and kind of just having that, it just being normal.
Yeah.
That's a character that can be played by a woman, and she's really cool.
Yeah, so I think if you've been kind of waiting excitedly for, the first female Doctor, for Jodie Whittaker, you're not going to be disappointed, is the kind of headline. But also, she's not the only new character we meet in the first episode. She has some companions, or some friends, a TARDIS team, whatever we're calling them. And they're a little bit different to how I expected, I think.
How so?
Well, Bradley Walsh is obviously quite a sort of bombastic person, quite larger than life in real life. And his character, Graham, I'd say in the episode is a bit more reserved.
I think what you're saying is that Bradley Walsh is a good actor.
He is, but you kind of, because the Doctor's so much like Jodie Whittaker, I kind of assumed he'd be a bit like...
You're totally right. He is a much more reserved character, a really good character.
Yeah, definitely.
He's kind of, if anything, the slightly reluctant one of the team to be kind of going into all this kind of weird sort of, sci-fi stuff.
Even more so than we've seen those sort of figures before, like Rory, Arthur Darvill and stuff like that. But even more so, I'd say, he's very much kind of dragged along with other people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting to see. You kind of don't see, you see a lot of him in this episode, but it's slightly more focused on, I'd say, one of the other companions who we'll get to in a second. But so I'm quite interested to see what they do with him in future weeks.
I'm looking forward to it, actually. I like him maybe more than I expected to.
Definitely, yeah. But the person I was just referring to is, slightly surprisingly for me, the kind of focus of this episode a lot of the time is Tosin Cole's character Ryan.
Yeah.
Which is it shouldn't be a surprise in a way. It's just that because they've talked a lot about how it's, an ensemble piece and everyone gets to go, I didn't expect any one of them necessarily to be pulled up right away. I think he does a really good job.
I mean, we cover all of them, don't we?
We do, but
it focuses in different ways on each of them.
But it feels like this is kind of his episode.
Yeah, there's a storyline element that is very much related to him, isn't
there?
Yeah,
definitely. And we do get to meet the others, and we see they each have something. They each have something kind of driving them, and something that's going to factor into what happens to them the rest of the series. But we kind of get an introduction to them, and I'd say their situations change a bit, but maybe slightly less than his does. Like he has very much a beginning of an episode and then end of an episode where he's in a slightly different place.
Yes.
Like it ties together.
Yeah.
We're talking such riddles.
Yeah, I know.
We could probably reveal more than we are saying.
I'm kind of going through in my head like, wait a minute, can I say that? Should I say that?
Yeah.
But no, you know, as we said, we just want to give you a flavour and not spoil anything. So,
so those are the companions. Oh, also we should mention Sharon D. Clarke, who is going to be a recurring character this series. So she's in a few episodes, but not every episode. I thought she was really good. I thought
really good.
Really
good.
warm, like quite just sort of a fun character to be around, I thought.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, quite a believable character.
Yeah.
And I suppose if I was I shouldn't really say this, should I? I wasn't convinced by all the accents.
Oh,
would
yeah.
possibly be a thing that I would say.
That's a good point.
But,
yeah.
And I'm not very good at not noticing that.
Right. Yeah.
When in a drama.
I'd say most of the actors are doing their natural accents.
Yeah.
Although maybe not some of the you mean some of the like guest actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean now.
So, but yeah, no, they were good. They seem like a good team.
They seem
I think
good.
We need to see more, really, don't we?
We do.
I know how that's going to work.
One of the things that struck me was how organic it felt that they came together. And by the end of the episode, where they kind of end up, it could have felt forced, but it actually kind of worked, I think.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
It's sort of the way that the show puts them together and puts them in a position where they're going to go travelling with the Doctor feels quite a natural progression. Like it isn't the Doctor saying, I need someone new to hang out with.
Yeah, exactly. It's not contrived in that way, is it? It's like no one says we're going to come with you, and she doesn't say you should come with me.
Yeah, it happens in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense, and like you say, I'm really excited to see what happens next time. What about the actual episode story, which we're not really going to talk about it.
But we can say whether we liked it.
Yeah, because you thought it was parts of it were a little thin, didn't you?
I think I kind of like maybe think this about a lot of opening episodes of Doctor Who, maybe. But the central story, for me, it had a few little holes in it and kind of just wasn't the most gripping. It was a little bit weak, but you know, it's happening. It's almost superfluous, isn't it? The Doctor finding her feet post regeneration and the team kind of coming together. So it wasn't a huge deal for me. There's an interesting monster which
we can't talk about.
No, we can't talk about it. Yeah. But all I was going to say is that when we first encounter it, I thought, oh, that's a bit ordinary. I'm not sure whether that's the kind of thing that will stick in people's minds. And then later on, something happens.
It does stick in your mind.
Oh, actually, yes, I think that would stick in my mind. And
definitely.
Give me nightmares.
Yeah, definitely. There's some creepy elements to this episode. There's some actually quite dark elements, I think.
Yeah.
Which is why. You know, I was wondering whether they'd end up putting it on TV a little bit later, but we do now know instantly that the episode's going to air at 6:45 on BBC One on Sunday, 7th of October, which is 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time if you're watching on BBC America in the States.
Yeah, and it's quite a show of confidence as well because it pushes the hallowed Strictly Sunday results show an hour later, doesn't it?
I think it's only half an hour.
Or
from the week
half
before.
an hour later. Yeah. But still, it's I think it's in scheduling terms, it's reasonably significant.
Definitely, and I think it deserves that vote of confidence. Like it's a really confident episode. Like it kind of it gives you the Doctor. It isn't saying who is the Doctor? Is this the Doctor? It's because she's so removed, I think, from Peter Capaldi. Apart from the fact that she's wearing his outfit the whole time. Yeah. But as a character, she feels like his Doctor, but is also her own Doctor. Do you know what I mean? Like she doesn't feel the need to react against his Doctor in a way that sometimes Doctors have. Yeah. Do you know what I mean when they've taken over?
Appears and she's her, basically. Yeah.
My one question: how do you think it compares to the 11th Hour, which was Matt Smith's first episode?
I mean, that was a really good episode. Well, it was a really good episode. Again, I feel similarly. It's a really good episode for the Doctor, like for introducing the Doctor. I thought like strong performances for both of them. And you established the character really well. Again, I mean, I'd say if anything, maybe the story. Oh, I don't know. But they're similarly not the best kind of story. I'd say in that one.
And I think we can look at both the episodes as sort of similar because that was the first, the first episode for the new production team back in 2010 when Stephen Moffat had taken over, and this one's the first one for Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker, and all that. It didn't grab me in quite the same way, but also like I'm coming at this one like about 8 years old, and like having to watch a lot more Doctor Who.
For you, that's significant. For me, wouldn't make a difference. But,
exactly. Yeah.
But you're in your youthful age, yes. So 8 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Another thing that you just reminded me of mentioning the production team is just how beautiful it looks sometimes.
Yeah, the new episode
really
looks amazing.
Shot, and there's some scenes of kind of the Sheffield kind of countryside that look amazing, don't they?
They really do. Like, I mean, it's a really good advert for Visit Sheffield or whatever.
Yeah, completely. Which I think maybe a small element of what Chris Chibnall was trying to achieve.
Yeah, just trying to sort of give Doctor Who a slightly broader focus, even in the sort of earthbound stuff.
And we went to Sheffield to see it, didn't we? To see the premiere.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that far out and about kind of thing.
No, we just went to a street.
It had a good vibe. I quite liked it.
Definitely, yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot more of Sheffield in this series.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I mean, what do you think this episode can tell us about the series as a whole?
In what sense?
Well, I mean, do we get a sense of what they're trying to do, of how it's different?
Well, yeah. So we kind of knew this was going to be the case, but the team being a team rather than assuming that it continues in that way.
Yeah.
It already kind of has me thinking, oh, how are they going to work together? How is that dynamic going to work in the TARDIS and so on? But I'm kind of looking forward to seeing that.
No, I know what you mean. It's difficult to extrapolate.
I'm also struggling with the spoilers thing because I'm trying to think what can I say that isn't going to be spoilery as well. So I don't know. I'm not sorry. I've not given you much there.
No, it's fine. I mean, I have a similar problem where the episode suggests certain things, and I think we can certainly take positive notes from it in that it's a good episode and it sort of sets up a really interesting dynamic with the companions. Yeah. It looks great, like you say, and that's continuing throughout the series. Same people working on it.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. And we know that the episode after, we do know officially that it has them in some like slightly hairy circumstances, escaping some nasty aliens and things.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps up.
I think so. I'm trying to think. We're going to talk very good about the theme tune.
Yes, there is a new theme tune by Sagun Akinola, which samples some of the original 1963 theme tune. And it doesn't turn up in the first episode in the traditional way exactly, but it is around.
We do get to hear some bits of it.
Yeah, we do get to hear some bits of it. And you really liked it, didn't you?
I did. Well, I love it. The main kind of tune, if you can call it that, the sort of that sounds like a theremin or whatever. It sounds pretty much to me exactly like the original, the 63 version kind of thing, which is brilliant. There's some different percussion in the background which kind of brings it more into the 21st century, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never probably like a Doctor Who theme tune as much as the early ones. But yeah, it sounded really good to me.
No, I really liked it, and I'm looking forward to hearing it sort of in its full glory, when the episode actually airs.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully you will all be watching too. 6:45 p.m. Sunday the 7th of October on BBC One.
Yeah.
I've been Hugh Fullerton. This has been our spoiler-free chat of Doctor Who: The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
I've been Paul Jones. This has been our spoiler-free
yeah.
of The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
And yeah, hopefully we didn't accidentally say, loads of really spoilery things.
I think we were good.
Yeah.
We were okay.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and goodbye.